All right, everybody, welcome on into the live stream here today. I am your host, facilitator, and leading this discussion here on going from idea to freedom. And the focus of this discussion and this methodology and this framework that comes out of my own personal life experience is how to take ideas, things that are just ideas in our mind, and turn them into a stream of income, turn them into something that we just love to do and allows us to bring our gift out into the world. And this is what I'm all about. And if you haven't met me before, like I said, I'm Gio Pensino. And let me just get things set up here a little bit so that we can be in conversation here. I've got everybody on mute right now, but I do want to encourage you at any time to jump on into the chat window and let me know where you're dialed in from. And I'm going to have a few prompts as I go along here today to prompt your thinking and to engage you into this conversation. And like I said, this concept of going from idea to freedom comes from my own life experience. And in particular, it comes from the process that I've done a few times in my life, which has taken me from pivoting from one place, oftentimes a place where I'm not fully satisfied with what I'm doing, to another place where I have a higher level of enjoyment and I'm more tapped into what my natural gifts are and what I enjoy doing. And the natural result of that is to have greater prosperity. And like I said, I've done this a few times in my life. And so if you're a creator or you're a coach or you have some kind of idea, maybe you're in a place that you're bringing something new out into the world, and maybe you're in transition with that, and you're not fully satisfied with what is going on right now. And I want to say this, that sometimes people can say, hey, you know what? You should just be satisfied with the way things are. Like it's good enough. And I say there's nothing wrong with that, but I also say this. I believe that God has created that bit of distress, that desire for more, because it's what inspires us on. It's what motivates us into action. So, like I said, if you're in that place, you're in a transition place, whether it's like a full-blown, life transition, or, you just wanting to bring something new into the marketplace. Maybe you have a program that you're just wanting to test out some new ideas and some new offers. Well, you're in the right place. And this discussion is going to give you a framework that is really based on what I would say are the Hermetic principles of polarity. And what I mean by that, this is the ancient principles of polarity. And it comes to me, this is where I reference it from the Hermetic principles, dating back, from classical times and even before, from Egyptian times. They say in the Hermetica, this comes directly from the Hermetica, and the law of polarity says that everything has its opposite. So you can say that on one side there's prosperity, and on the other side there can be lack, right? And in the middle of those two things is the perfect meeting point. And so the framework that I want to share with you, like I said, it's built on this principle of polarity, because what my experience has been in terms of pivoting and creating something new is that there is oftentimes this bit of distress, and that distress is the call to something greater. And on the other side of that, the opposite polarity to that is when it becomes brought into fruition. And sometimes that fruition becomes so fruitful or so whatever, that we then start the cycle all over again. And that's, kind of where I am in my own life right now. It's like I've created a lot of prosperity, and I have achieved great things in a few different areas in my life, including previously going from a job where I wasn't that satisfied. It was a decent and okay job, to then building a design company with a little over $12 million in sales. And then I reached that cycle one more time where I was like, I'm kind of tired of this. I reached the top of the industry. I had been a landscape architect for about 20 years, reached the very top of that industry, working for very wealthy clients. And I kind of got a little like, I had enough of these. I had enough of these clients, I had enough of doing this kind of work. And then I got the calling. And then YouTube emerged. And I've always had, this natural gift for communicating and creating media content. I just enjoy doing it. And so I was like, this is going to change everything. And so I started that cycle all over again. And I started to create media content, initially started teaching and training for the design industry, built a six-figure company teaching other landscape architects what I had learned how to do, both design and construction engineering and marketing. And then reached the top of that experience in about 2017. And I did a shift one more time. And I shifted towards working with people uh, in health, in wellness, and transformation. And now I find myself in the center of what you might call the zeitgeist of the moment. And what I say about this is that the world is awakening. Like, we are going through this massive awakening right now, and I see it all around me. Like, I was just in a 3-day personal branding workshop here in Scottsdale, and one of the facilitators was um, her expertise was in presence, how to be more present, and how to like step into your brand and to feel it from the inside out. And I see Miro is here. Miro is with us here today, and I'm curious if this kind of resonates with what you do. Uh, Go ahead and drop on into, open the microphone up if you want to, Miro, and just say hi to us real quick and see. Let me know if that kind of resonates with what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for creating the space and inviting me to it. I still resonate with the journey from, working in corporate and being somewhat unfulfilled. Even though having created some success, there's always a level and a new layer to it. Like they say that every glass ceiling that you break through lands you on a new floor. And what I'm present to, as you speak about presence, that as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's here to help others in a meaningful way, we get to choose growth over comfort. And that is over and over again. It like doesn't stop. And so whenever we get too comfortable, it's the universe giving out that little nudge that there's something greater, something more that you're being called to. And for a lot of people, they experience that as stress. And you're like, oh, that's not comfortable. Let me avoid that. And they end up repeating similar cycles and not transforming their lives in a meaningful way. But then there are people like you and I who's like, oh, there's something uncomfortable here. Let me explore what's on the other side of that. Who am I becoming by becoming bigger than it? And sometimes, especially making the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship and then full-time freedom in alignment with your purpose, it doesn't it doesn't look comfortable at first because you don't know what it's going to be like on the other side. Kind of like childbirth, when you're in the womb, everything is comfortable and everything is being provided and you're nurtured and it's beautiful. But the process of going from inside of the womb, outside of the womb, can be right. It's like
It's
I don't
not
want
comfortable.
to.
It's
Oh
not
yeah.
comfortable. It makes
Yeah.
me think of one of my clients that I have
Hmm.
right now. I've been working with him for a period of time. And, he's a high net worth earner. He earns right now in a corporate job position that he's been in for a long time, little over $300,000 a year. And that sounds pretty good, right? It sounds like that's a pretty nice place to be. It's a prosperity. And he's kind of like me with when I made that transition from a job. He enjoys it, it's okay. But now he's being called to something more. And exactly like you just said, Miro, it's like it's not real comfortable, particularly if you maybe are having to leave something behind, or you're just having to, learn new technology things. And it's like you said, it's a never-ending process, and I give voice to this because this is the law of polarity. It's like you reach a stage and you're very good at what you do, and then you get called to something greater, or you just, you have a bigger vision for yourself. So thanks for jumping in, Mira, and I'm so glad that you're in the community and you're in the space here today. This is a new community, relatively new community. And what I'm speaking on here today is a program. It's roughly the framework of a program that I have called Pivot to Purpose. And it is born, like I said, right out of my experiences of reinventing myself 3 or 4 times in my life. And so, one of the things I know that I bring to people is I guess to say like the normal, like normalizing it. Like I know this is normal, right? I know it's normal, like you said, to feel uncomfortable. And if you're stretching yourself, like either having to learn new technology or up leveling your speaking skills or your marketing skills, your copywriting, whatever it might be, it's uncomfortable when you're new at something. And what I liken it to is, I thought about this a little bit beforehand. Like it's kind of like if you wanted to be a high diver, right? And you wanted to jump off the high diving board. Anything physical like this really brings it home. Like say, I don't know what it is. It called the 40-meter dive. It's like the friggin' hugest dive. But you watch some people or cliff diving, it's similar. You watch people and they just do it with such grace. And it's like, that is so amazing. I want to do that. But my advice would be do not try it. Don't make that your first step. So I'm gonna share three very specific steps. This is the framework that I've used myself, and this is what this Pivot to Purpose program is all built around. And the first step is to begin with the beginner's mind. And this is on terms of polarity, this is the feminine aspect of it, which is being open at the top to receive ideas. And it's not necessarily an active thing, although it can have active aspects to it. But its key element is being open to receive the ideas. And where it may have an active aspect to it, and this is kind of what I recommend, is to get yourself around the environments, right? Like you might just go to the diving board, like go to the pool and maybe check out, just see what it looks like. And maybe there'll be some divers there. Maybe some of those divers will be beginner divers, and maybe some of them will be the experienced divers. But when you just get yourself around the environment of the thing that you're wanting to create. And some of the elements of this as well. It's an introspective process. And some of these elements may also include doing the introspection around what you really value, like what's important to you, because your values will lead you in the very best way, right? Because you could step into something too soon and realize that, well, this isn't really what I'm about. Or you could do the opposite. Like recently, I grew up at the end of a long dirt road. I say that my family, we were entrepreneurs. I joke sometimes that we were like hillbilly entrepreneurs. We had a lot of small businesses, and the primary word there is small. They were small businesses. So now I've adjusted my thinking, and I'm getting ready to buy a property here in Scottsdale. And my thinking had been of a certain scale, a certain size, and what feels comfortable. And but right near where I live, there is this beautiful biophilic development that is just absolutely gorgeous. It's like there's like the whole thing is like wrapped into plants. It's like glass and steel. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I just didn't even think that that was a possibility for me. I kind of had it placed like these are probably all $1 million plus condos, and many of them are. But I decided to get myself around it, and I've been going on open house tours. And all of a sudden, this one Sunday afternoon, a few weeks ago, I'm like, it's kind of getting towards the end of the day on Sunday. I'm like, I think I want to go see if there's any, open houses in this. It's called Optima. And so I look online, and sure enough, there's one, and it's kind of in my price range. It's not $1 million one, but it's in my price range. And I went on over. I got myself around it just to consider, like, hey, what is this? Would I even fit in there? And lo and behold, it turns out that I was greeted by everybody that met me there. It was like, they were like, "Oh, you got to come and move here." They're like, "We want you to move here." And one of my potential neighbors, a super cute gal, and she's got just wonderful energy around her, and she's like, "Oh, you got to move here." And long story short, this is one of the first things: is get yourself around the environments. Look at your own values and what inspires you, and do some self-examination. And so that is kind of the first steps. It's the feminine aspect of the polarity. It's being open, receiving, getting yourself around it. I say sometimes walk down some back alleyways because you never know where the inspiration is going to come from. But the key thing is there is a little bit of an action to it, which is to just to go and get yourself into the environments, get around it. Maybe, if you're wanting to create something new, maybe that new thing that you're trying to create, represents an up leveling of a lifestyle that you want to have. And maybe there's a vehicle or a car or home or whatever it might be, a trip to a hotel that just represents these things. What I have found is by getting ourselves around the physical symbols, it creates an anchor in our unconscious mind, and that anchor becomes a tool that will be almost like a magnet, and it will start to magnetize the attraction of the ideas that become the thing that you want to create. So that's the first step. The second step is then to what I call is to create a refinery, kind of like an alchemy refinery, where you turn those ideas, the slew of creative ideas, into gold. And this is what I was talking about and how I kind of framed this discussion today, which was idea to freedom. So, in the first step, we get open at the top. We gather the ideas in many different ways. I just suggested a couple of different ways. But then we want to create a refining of those ideas, a refinery. And that process may look like uh, doing some general market research, getting out into maybe the online social media environment. This is one of the things that has made this process so much easier, and why it is now truly easy now to go from zero to a six-figure practice very rapidly, because we have these tools now where we can go online and start to do some market research around whatever the idea is. And at this point, in this second step, I say, still stay kind of open to possibilities, but now we want to start to refine it down. And ultimately, in the conclusion of the second step, the second key to this process, is that we want to refine it down to one idea. And I know if you're anything like me, like I've been a creative my entire life, and I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of possibilities. And as I've worked with my own ideas and also working with clients over time, I have found this to be one of the sometimes sticking points because we have so many ideas and we can help many different kinds of people do many different things. But in terms of creating an offer or a product, well, ultimately, for it to really be successful in the marketplace, it needs to serve one ultimate outcome, one purpose, and one type of people. And that can be quite restricting to us creatives. But like I said, that is the second part of the process. And within that refining process, one of the things that is enormously helpful is to do informational interviews. So, actually speaking to people who are doing the thing that you want to do. And this is one of the, I don't want to call it a secret, but a lot of people are hesitant to go on to discovery calls or to, you know, consider talking to a coach or a consultant and find out how they can help you. That's one way to do a market research, to do find out like, hey, is this the right fit for me? Am I going in the right direction? The other way is takes a little bit more daring, which is to uh, build a community of people around you and then go and actually do either online, on phone, informational interviews. And these are kind of like doing a job interview, but for no purpose other than to gather the information. Like I said, it's like doing market research, but now you get to narrow down your idea down into one area and it's like I said, it's like building a refining process that turns all of your ideas, refines it down into one specific idea. And the third and the last idea, or the last key to this whole thing, is and this is the action side. This is the polarity side, the masculine side, which is to take action on that one idea. And I see Miro, I see Miro nodding his head because this is a place where people do get hung up sometimes. And again, it takes a certain amount of daring to put yourself out there, to create an offer. And what I say is to create a minimally viable product, which often looks like nothing more than simply creating an offer that defines what you're doing for a certain group of people. And I can feel the energy coming off of Mira right now. And so, do you want to jump on in and amplify this notion?
Yes, yes, yes. Such a beautiful, powerful framework, and actually incredible that you're giving it to people the way that you do. I'm in an MBA program right now, working with my Harvard professors on this exact process of creating MVP products. And I just want to edify that this process works. It's the most simple way that I've heard it expressed. And specifically on the note of taking action, um, that's where a lot of people fall short, which I think is so important to have mentors, community, accountability, and support. And one a nuance I want to add to taking action, it says aligned action. We may have heard of that before, but what does aligned action mean? It's not only like taking the exact actions that are straight line to your goals, but literally taking action from your future self, taking action from the successful entrepreneur future version of self. And then from that perspective, what would that version do? Those are the actions that actually get you to creating what you want. Because you can create abundance from lack, from an employee mindset, actions that taking you put in more hours, put in more work. That's not entrepreneurship, right? So you have to think differently, really break the paradigm, and then take aligned action from a higher place.
Yes, so good, so good. And I, again, I speak about this from personal experience because one of the pivots that I went through from, being a successful landscape architect to creating online programs Well, it was a challenging experience for me, both, learning the new tools and everything, but also financially, because it happened for me during the Great Recession in 2008. And I had sold my company, all my equipment. I had quite a treasure chest of, financial resources. But when you're creating something new, if you don't get to market in a fairly reasonable period of time, then you can, run out of your resources. And that's exactly what happened to me. It's part of the reason why I create this program to help people from making some of the mistakes that I made. We learn a lot from our mistakes, but it's much better to and faster to work with somebody who's already made those mistakes or who knows how to get to market quickly. But even though it was a very challenging experience for me, and I have some funny stories that I tell about it, about my utilities getting cut off and all these crazy things. And at the last moment, as I was putting my minimally viable product out into the marketplace through a webinar, kind of like what I'm doing right now for the industry, and people really wanted what I had to offer. And one of those people happened to be the marketing director for the largest landscape company in America called Valley Crest. And she was investing in new media startups, just like what I was starting up. And she basically started to throw money at me. Like, she became a guest on one of my webinars. At the end of it, she said, I can think of more things that we could do together. And I was, actively, needing to have investment. And within 30 days, I had $30,000 deposited into a joint bank account. And that opened up many doors. It wasn't just the money, but then it opened up doors to other corporations in that industry that wanted to use my products, my content marketing services. It opened up over $100,000 worth of new opportunity. And I went from, like I said, this polarity thing of, zero or less than zero to a high level of prosperity. I mean, almost overnight. And so again, I share this because this is a common story. If you are like me and you like to read, or listen to stories of entrepreneurs, it's like some of those stories, like you listen to Richard, Branson's stories, and he does the same thing. He'll have gotten to, to less than zero. Like he'll be like, millions of dollars in the hole, and then overnight he takes these ideas that have come to him and takes action on them and goes to the places where those ideas are valuable. So it's possible for anyone. And like I said, I say this out of direct and personal experience. So what I want to wrap up with here is a couple of things. Is the Pivot to Purpose program is a relaunch of a program that I offered back in about 2018. But I created this community, this one True Calling community, to be a space, basically to help people to go from zero to freedom in a wider set of areas. I've been working almost exclusively with health and wellness coaches for the past 7 years. And now I'm opening that container out a little bit wider to anyone who is in creating something new. And so the Pivot to Purpose is a program. I'm not going to go into the details of it here today. This is not a pitch fest here today. But if you're interested in learning more about it, all you need to do is to either drop into the chat window, Pivot, or you can jump on into the school space and you'll notice that there's a new tab that I've opened up. And what that tab is for people to both connect with me, to express interest, and to, explore some of the things that you're doing. So it is a community that is open for collaboration. The Pivot to Purpose program is a paid program that will be within the One True Calling community. But you'll notice that tab, the Pivot to Purpose tab, within the community is open. And if you have things that you're working on, Miro, I know you and I, we have collaboration possibilities in so many different ways. So I'm sure that I'll see you over there. Maybe we'll do a live stream or a training session here together, maybe even within the Pivot to Purpose program. But anybody, Andrea or Shelley B, if you both or people who are getting to hear the recording on this, just drop on in and express your interest over there, and I'll connect with you. Either we'll have a chat conversation or a phone call, and I'll give you the details on the Pivot to Purpose program.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. And I'm stoked to be part of Pivot to Purpose with you. I can see us creating some great magic. I would love to hear from the audience too. What stage are they on, right? Like, are you guys on open to ideas? Are you in your market research phase and refining, or are you ready to take action already? Or maybe it's about consistency and taking your, freedom empire to another level. I'm super curious to learn from everybody.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Miro. Yeah, because I've got a few more minutes. If anybody else wants to jump on in, open your mic, Shelly B, or Drea, if you want to, jump on in, feel free to. I've got a couple more minutes left here, and definitely am open, like Miro said, to hear where you're at, what you're creating, and how we can support you. I see Shelly B dropping on into the window, refining ideas, business startup. And Shelly B and I know each other. I have to give some voice to this because we've become wonderful friends, and we know each other initially from online space. We connected in a online community during COVID, and it's just another example of how we're able to reach people all over the world and then develop like meaningful connections. Like Shelly B and I, we know each other now. We're not only connected online, but last summer I went to San Luis Obispo, Pismo Beach, and Atascadero, where the spiritual community, the Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living, is based. And that is, I spent a month there. It was so beautiful, and beautiful sand dunes there. And Shelly B and I got to have some wonderful lunches and brunches, and this is how things work now. This is how things work. So we can create online experiences. We can create hybrid programs where it's both in person, online, and anywhere in the world. I have one of my very close friends, Joseph Rodriguez, and again, he and I connected. He has a very large not Facebook, but YouTube community, and he has over 500,000 followers, and he's roughly in the same kind of new thought space that the Awakening Ways Center is based around, new thought, spirituality, and my friend Joseph, he has over 500,000 people in his community, over 11 million views. And I was thinking to myself recently, because I was actually just talking to another one of the members last night, Travis, on the phone, and I was like, that is bigger than any church. Like there's more people listening to my friend Joseph and being influenced from him, 11 million views than even the largest mega church. And he does that entire thing from, he lives in Toronto, but he does pop up, meetups here and there. We've met in Playa del Carmen and in California a couple of times. It's just him, and he has a multi-million-dollar business. It's just him, a computer, a laptop, and he keeps it super simple. Like I'm a little bit more complicated in this way, but I learned from my friend Joseph because he has a multi-million-dollar business. He does 2, 3 videos per week. He does a couple of live, sessions. His entire multi-million-dollar business probably takes him about maybe 7 or 8 hours a week of his time. So I just share this, like I said, to inspire people, and appreciate you all being here today. So spread the word as well. Feel free to invite other people into the school community. I'll make sure that other people have a link to where to invite people. And as I just finish up here, Mary got some last couple of things to say.
Yeah, before I close, I just want to acknowledge Andrea, who's with a client now, but sharing that big picture. Her vision is to create a luxury wellness sanctuary for quantum healing. Feels like a huge paradigm shift, but looks good to be connected, aligned with those who think and dream big and mastermind, so to speak. Ha, how's that perfect?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So good.
I gotta give some voice. Thank you so much for saying that too, because Dre and I know each other again through online space. She's now supporting one of my clients in his health and wellness program. Andrea is a phenomenal vegan chef and does, private caterings based in LA, and she's phenomenal. She has just being around her, listening to her has shifted my whole eating process and my raise the vibes on my food is a quick way to say it.
So good. Yeah, can't wait to connect. I love the dimension of masterminds, which is so much in our DNA, both as students and members and participants, but also as creators. And it's a very potent way to get our gifts into the world for sure.
Yeah, so good.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everybody for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you potentially next week. Or, like I said, if you're inspired, you want to learn more about the Pivot to Purpose program, drop on in, connect with me on chat, and I'll share the details on it. All right,
See you there.
everybody, enjoy the rest of
Thank
your
you.
day.